So is blockchain actually revealing the beast system? Talked about in the scriptures. I'm watching a video today by Nino Rodriguez, who I'm a big fan of, love the guy. And he has on Rob Cunningham. Rob is on X. He's got KUWL show on X. And great shows. It was awesome. I mean, he really broke down in some theories that are very true. And Nino had concerns about the blockchain becoming a beast system and tracking everybody and looking at everybody's data as it goes on chain. Log in, they're going to shut you off as soon as you use the blockchain and get rid of cash and valid concerns. Rob, he had some good points. He talked about what was called zero knowledge proof. Zero knowledge proof is a way that people can, reveal a little bit of information about themselves with whatever they want and then keep the rest. So they don't have to show their private keys or they don't have to show exactly how much Bitcoin or money they have in their wallets. They don't need to show, whatever they don't want to, it's up to them. They can disclose what they want. It's called zero knowledge proofs. Now they didn't go into crypto or what blockchain at all. So I want to say it's very good that this is getting out there because it's not quite mainstream, but Nino's pretty big. He's a pretty big influencer. And it's good to see that information is just starting to push out there a little bit more, that people are really interested in wanting to find out about. Is blockchain safe? I mean, the clarityact coming out soon, and the geniusact, the geniusact being passed with stable coins is the real deal. So I just want to raise a concern that I have. All right. You got to remember, everything we've been taught has been a lie. I think Nino would agree, and I think Rob would too, right? So remember, each psyop is a psyop, has been a psyop upon a psyop. And I'm talking to the people here, because I think these guys are both good people and they mean well. So that being said, while blockchain may not be a part of the beast system, and zero knowledge proof may not be a part of the beast system. However, we got to be really careful on what happened to these blockchains. Are they centrally controlled? Are they just another arm of the Fed? Are they just another arm of these banks? Or are they actual digital cash, completely decentralized, peer-to-peer, no middleman? So this is really it's great that this information is getting out there because people are going to start learning about this and start learning about zero knowledge proof and how this is going to be super important as we decide on a ledger, a base layer. People do. And I do see that Rob had retweeted something about how Swift is the fax machine and XRP is the internet of value. So, all right, as a longtime crypto guy, I will say, I've been coming up from a pretty long, not super long, but long enough. I mean, 10 years, okay, is a pretty decent amount of time. Being seeing all that side with XRP, seeing it happen when it first came out, learning about it when it first came out, and then learning the warnings about it. Now, it's really tough when it gets into the technical side. So if you're not able to really read into the technical nuances of the code and the differences in the blockchains and what's really going on, what I would encourage a guy like Rob or anybody to do is just use the stuff. Just use it to start with, okay? That's a great starting point. And then once you use it, because it's got to be, if XRP is going to be the new internet of value, all right, like he's saying here, or he's led on to believe, use it. And then let's see how many transactions it's doing, in a day, in a second. Obviously, it's going to need to do what? Trillions of transactions a day, if that's the case, right? So it's going to need to be doing billions of transactions a second, probably. If it's going to be if that's true, it's going to need to scale immensely. It's going to need to be so fast. So that's the first thing you got to make sure that it has that capability. And then second, was it pre-mined? What happened with Jed McCaleb? What happened with Roger Ver? Jed McCaleb? Nobody talks about Jed. Jed McCaleb. Didn't Jed start, the first big crypto exchange that went bust and then kept everybody's money? Now, Jed had probably sold it out maybe after that, but the guy who he sold it to went to jail, did a long time. He's back out now. They did, Jed moved on, did XRP and Stellar, and then pre-mined a massive amount. He's a billionaire. He's got billions in XRP and Stellar, and so did the XRP Foundation. So is that even going to qualify under the Genius Act? Think about it. I'm sorry, the Clarity Act. The Clarity Act is going to require you to be a mature blockchain to be a commodity. So in order to be a mature blockchain, you cannot have a central point of origin, and you can't have pre-mined tokens. If you have pre-mined tokens, you're just centrally controlled. You're just the next central bank, the next Federal Reserve. What's the difference? What's the difference? One guy, Jed McCaleb, sitting there mining all the tokens. He gets half. He puts it in his coffer. Roger Ver gets a third. He puts it in his coffer. The guy from Kraken, he gets another. Jesse, he gets another 20%. David Case gets another 10%. David, not Case, but David whoever. David Schwartz. So now you're left with, okay, and then all the schmucks like us, we get the other 50%. And then that price goes up. Those guys got to pre-mine all that at 50% of it and keep it. Not a red flag though, right? That's not a big deal. They just kept all that and then released it. That's a fact. Not only that, how's it going to scale? Does it even work? Is anybody even using it? Really. I would take a closer look at it, man. I used to have the XRP, and maybe I'm biased because I dumped all my XRP when it hit $3 or whatever it was. I don't remember what the price was. It was too high. It was maybe 2 years ago, and it was on a run, and I was like, oh, I'm done. I dumped it. once it hit that, I don't know what the number was, but it's $3. I don't know. It was a pretty high number, and I was done with it. So, and I just don't think, I would encourage you to carefully look into it, because what they don't want you to know is that we have a way to transact peer-to-peer. We don't need them. We don't need a centrally controlled system or a pre-mined system, because Satoshi gave us perfection. Perfection. The gift that Satoshi gave us was absolute perfection the way it was. It's the simplest form. The white paper, what it says inside that white paper was perfectly designed. It didn't need to be changed, altered, controlled, pre-mined. It's good for those people because they made a lot of money on that. But us, as we're going forward in this new world and this new blockchain, to make sure that they don't have a beast system, we need to have our own public ledger that we can do zero-knowledge truths on, and that we can do projects on and scale infinitely. Scale to 1 million transactions a second right now, infinitely. And then grow from there infinitely. Cheaply, for a fraction of a cent. The fastest way possible. Nodes all over the world, scattered throughout, operating test nets. It's the Satoshi's design is perfect the way it is. Okay? It's just absolutely immaculate. It's immaculate conception. the way it's done. And thank God it's been preserved, technology. And thank God that, there were some brilliant people behind the Satoshi team that not only preserved it, but they put an absolute armored wall around it legally. And they quietly sit up there in the ivory towers, and they don't do anything about it. And that's okay, because one day they will. One day they will. Because there is an ivory tower, there is a massive iron wall, a fence around the entire crypto industry. CK knowledge proofs with patents. They're all patented, dude. Everything's patented. Smart contracts. It is a wall of patents. It's so bad. It's so big. They created a patent alliance called COPA, and then sued the one guy that created all those patents and told him he wasn't allowed to call himself Satoshi Nakamoto because it was so detrimental. They all came together and sued him. That's how dangerous it was to their system. So when we're talking about these the beast system coming, or it may just be here if we use XRP, because it's just another centralized protocol. It's the banker's wet dream. I mean, they're going to get exactly what they want if we use that. So they're going to be really happy about that. So we want to just, I encourage you, if you see this, Rob, to go back and look carefully at the white paper and the protocol. And you will find, if you look hard enough, that what Satoshi gave us still exists, and it hasn't changed. It's right there. It's the biggest. It's the best kept secret, definitely in crypto. I'll leave a little clip. You guys go watch that show if you want. It's pretty interesting. I would definitely recommend it. All right, hit the ones. My name is Gavin. I'll see you at the top. By the way, this Thursday I'm going to be in Bend, Oregon, for the not Bend. Is it Bend? Medford, Oregon. And anybody, I want to encourage anybody to go. It's going to be the Hackathon. Talk about the original Bitcoin. This is going to be the hackathon on the original Bitcoin protocol, where these guys are basically the brains behind building the language on Bitcoin and the code. And the hackathon is going to be about like the best company. I'm going to be one of the judges there. I get to rule on what the best idea is as an entrepreneur. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a hacker, if you're just a sales guy, if you're just a freaking guy who wants to learn like me, then go. It's Medford, Oregon. It's, I don't know the freaking link. I'm sorry. Well, I'll put a link in one of my videos here, and you can find it on how to find it, on how to get to the thing. I think it's called bsvhackathon.com. Babage. Project Babage is doing it. And it starts on Thursday. I'm going to be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So look me up for sure. Cannot wait. I'm looking forward to it. And if you see this, Rob, that's what it takes. You got to meet people face to face who are actually building these businesses on it. And I guarantee you won't find anybody doing this on XRP. Have you tried? I saw that one guy, what's his name? Risenhouse. He made a video like he's the CEO and there's no one there. He's just the only guy at a seminar. Nobody there. Oh my gosh, dude. Now, actually, come to something like this. In Medford, meet people like me, like Kurt Walker Jr., like Babage, Mitch from Metawatt, people actually building businesses, or just guys like me, anybody, and that's how you'll actually see what's actually happening. It will change your life. And then London at the end of the month, I will be there. So that's it. Hit the ones. I'll see you at the top later.